ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FitbawReview podcast. Episode 4 today. Bit of a different one, and I'm doing the intro. Usually it's Thomas doing the intro, but for the first time I get to ask you, how are you?
Yes, I'm feeling good. Happy to be here and looking forward to the pod.
That's good to hear. So in this one, it will be our week 1 review fixtures. We're going to be talking about the matches, giving our game week 2 predictions, a little bit of goal of the week, player of the week and all that, but let's just get straight into it. Talk about a Livy Rangers match.
Yes, Rangers got a decisive win at Livy at Tony Macaroni Stadium, winning 2-1, which saw an early goal from Newbley chipping the ball over McLaughlin, a Scott Arfield goal and a fantastic James Tavernier free kick. Captain fantastic, but we'll just jump straight into it. We'll just talk about the goal. It was Devlin was on Barisic. Barisic dropped off, and then which allowed Devlin to get the ball. Devlin picks up Newbley. Jim's Suter.
Yeah, it's like he wasn't even there.
Wasn't
lacklustre debut.
Oh, indeed. And chips it over McLaughlin, who seems to be the Rangers' number 1 goalkeeper. Wasn't really his fault, but I think it was poor from Barisic and Suter. Also Suter's first game for Rangers, competitive first game of the league.
Yeah, it's just getting the rust out of the way. Obviously it wasn't the best of debuts for probably a Rangers starting centre-back standard, but there will be more to come. As you've seen, Goldson in an interview said he was getting stick, but it took him time. Everyone's going to take time to settle in, but
that's true.
We also know the qualities he's got. So
so I think it's a debut to forget for Suter.
Yep.
Obviously Newbley, and I don't think anybody thought much he'll be much, but impressive the whole game. Really positive for Livingston. I guess also didn't get the win, but it's a bright spark for them for their season.
It suits him down to a T.
Does.
He can run channels. He can hold up the ball. That's actually what Livy play off of, and he can finish as well as seen.
Yeah.
Impressive game for Livy. I don't even think they played bad. Obviously they played their system under Martindale to try squeeze at Rangers, but they crumbled in 2 minutes. 2 goals in 2 minutes for Rangers, which got them back in it. Obviously the first goal, substitute Scott Arfield coming on the pitch, Kent cutting in for one of the first times cutting in, crossing it. Usually he was going to the byline doing it. Decent half ball, good flicked on header. It's a really good run from Arfield. What he's been known for really in this Rangers team. Also getting the equaliser a few minutes later. Free kick, silly foul from Omiyonga, but I mean,
what can you do?
And then Tavernier steps up and
bows it.
I guess you can say it's a decent free kick.
Well, it's a very good free kick if you were at the game. Obviously Kolak could have got a goal, but was ruled offside. Maybe VR will fix that in the future when it comes in. Is it after World Cup?
Yeah, about 6 months in again. We spoke on that off camera, a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Also, there's another, excuse me, another goal in the game that was disallowed, but not for Rangers. It's for Livy.
Yeah. A
long throw in into the box, looks to be handbags, a wee bit of shoving about, flicked on header, cannons off the bar, comes back off the Livy player and goes in the back of the net. To be fair, there wasn't too much contact for the foul. I don't know if it was on Goldson. He was the one that was jumping and claiming for a foul, but he always does that. If he messes up, he'll just chuck his hands in the air.
I think they were claiming Tavernier was getting holded back by
the front post. I think it was Newbley. But there wasn't too much in that, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe, but I think if VR was there, I think they probably would have ruled out anyway. But
that's the whole point of it. Yeah, you get a second review. Also, it was a game of 2 halves for Rangers, really.
Indeed.
In the first half, they showed the style and the system they were playing, getting the ball, getting it out wide, crossing into the box. 38 crosses into the box the whole game for Rangers, which is quite a lot. Wasn't successful in the first half, obviously, and they had no shots on target in the first half, so you can see why in the second half the changes Gio made worked very well, and they've seen it at the game.
Yeah, I think Sands was very impressive. Also came on for Suter, who again wasn't very good, but Sands looks like he could be made a stake for a starting spot for tonight, the Champions League qualifiers versus SG Union.
Yep.
So I think, difficult game, but I think they got 3 points. It was a tough game, but got 3 points. I think they move on to the Champions League.
Yeah, now Hearts Ross County, a game that I watched. Again, it was kind of a game of 2 halves. A lot of teams, like Rangers, Hearts, they struggled in the first half. Surprisingly, Ross County dominated. Obviously, I thought they'd drop off quite a lot based off of last season. The whole first half they were completely dominant on top. Hearts couldn't create any chances and struggled But it took them 58 minutes to open the scoring. It was a decent enough team goal, started by Newman, Alan Forrest. They linked the ball, got into the box, received a cutback from Alex Cochrane, and he finished it. In the second half, he was the danger man. Him and Barry Mackay really came alight. Whatever Robbie Nielsen said at half time really changed it. Ross County was in the team that struggled, and Hearts convincingly seen out the game.
Yeah, but it was some goal from Barry Mackay.
Oh,
that was delightful.
That was a good watch on the eye.
Yeah.
Ball over the top, in between two defenders, he just plucks it down at the air, and that on its own is very impressive. Never mind then putting it into the path. He goes on, keeper comes out, another defender comes to close the angle.
Sends them to the
he
shots.
just feints and fakes the shot. Oh, and then it's just beautiful, lovely tap in.
Obviously, Alan Forrest, my cousin, you know.
Yep.
Related. Obviously, he looked very impressive. Obviously, his debut game for Hearts. I don't think many people thought too much from obviously coming from Livy, but I think he'd be a useful squad player and today instead of having may have been a 1-1 draw, made it into a 2-1 win. I think that's what you need.
You speak on a 1-1 draw, also a goal from John White for Ross County. It wasn't actually too far off of the goal from Barry Mackay. It was almost from kick-off. There was a few subs that came on, and then they scored also a ball over the top. And for John White, a man of his stature, he's about 6'3", 6'4". You wouldn't expect him to be running behind, so lapse of concentration from the Hearts defence, he gets in behind. And to be fair, he finished it very well, up against a good keeper in Craig Gordon. So yeah, they weren't awful in the end. Ross County, obviously the first half they were very good. I would say a one to watch out for them is Awura Edwards for Ross County.
Yeah.
He's a wee tricky winger. He's almost like a Regan Charles Cook, light for light. He'll run at you, he'll be direct, he's very pacey, quick, skillful. And in the first half he had a shot where he took on Michael Smith, cuts inside and looks to curl it into that top right hand corner. Very close and it hit the bar. If that went in, that might have been my goal of the week. But we'll speak on that later to come.
Yes, well, we'll move on to the North 2 o'clock kick-off. It was Camargue versus Dundee United, which saw Camargue kick off the game with a flag day. First of many of the season. Obviously they won the championship, got a wee flag day. It was quite nice, a bit of fireworks from that.
I mean, not as much as Celtic's one.
No,
I think that was a wee bit better.
Yeah,
but
maybe. But you know, there's a lot of fans at the Camargue game. Was quite some atmosphere, looked like a wee day out in the sun.
I mean, they didn't even play bad either. It looked a good game.
Oh, it
Obviously,
was.
it was kind of mixed opinions on that game because they're coming up a new side. You probably expect Dundee United to win. However, they kind of dominated the first half.
Well, indeed, Camargue were far better side. They were just solid defensively. Their attack on the counter. Big credit to Shaw and Lafferty linking up like they were playing for each other for ages. Obviously, last season playing the championship together, but Shaw looks like some player for Camargue, and Lafferty just doing what he usually does. It looks like time doesn't affect him or his age. But I saw Abelisu, who's a right winger. It was very good for Camargue. Put some really interesting balls in. It was giving Tony Watt a hard time. Nutmegs and all that, left, right and centre from. But yeah. Cujo as well for Dundee United. Didn't really see much of the ball.
His Cameroon youngster, very young,
Yeah.
17-year-old or something.
Very
so
impressive.
a
Very
big future
impressive.
ahead of him if he can continue getting into that first team consistently.
Indeed. Well, because Camargue were a very equal first half, but Dundee United did.
Yeah, they managed to get that goal and then
Did manage to get the goal.
their main man, obviously the man they got their permanent,
That's
John
true.
Levitt. It was a
Some
finish.
That was some goal. I was watching it. I was very
Ball into the
impressed.
box, cut back to Stephen Fletcher. And I didn't understand watching him that he has got that footwork.
I know.
And just a wee cheeky back heel lays it off, and there wasn't much room between Fletcher and Levitt.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That just shows how good a player he is.
Runs onto it and just slaps
Quick
it.
thinking, cuts across it. You could open your body side foot in a rushed attempt, but he just like goes for it and sends it in the top corner.
I think it was a ball. It was a weird goal because they crossed it in and the ball was overhit and it just went to Cujo. Cujo just straight into Fletcher. Fletcher obviously wee back heel and just slaps it top in. It's very impressive.
Obviously at half time that would have changed Derek McInnes's talk because
Oh yes.
they were kind of dominating Kelly.
They were
just
very
to go
good.
down at half time off of that was a bit interesting, but in the second half you've seen more of the same kind of Kelly dominating. You've probably seen more of the match than me, but obviously didn't give up final minutes of the game. Ball into the box from a
That's
corner. Ash Taylor, out of all people, former Aberdeen centre back, and the
Slap.
captain catches it very nicely in a volley.
Yes.
And it's a very good finish, a striker-esque
Half volley,
finish,
yeah.
and obviously getting the points in the end.
Yeah.
So not a bad result for them.
I think
Maybe
Dundee,
they would have wanted to win, but deservingly. But it's
Yeah.
Dundee United, they're a good side.
I
so
think I think Mark will be very happy with that. Also playing Rangers next week. I think Dundee United will be disappointed by the 60th minute. Also got the red card as well.
Yeah.
Dundee United saw.
Who was it then?
Harks.
Oh, Ian Harks.
Ian Harks, yeah.
Oh, I remember
He was
seeing
sent off.
he was on a yellow card and he's pure lunging into
Yeah.
tackles. Like, you just
Took
don't
the
do that.
man. It was on the halfway line and he took him out. Very unnecessary. Pretty much cost Dundee United the 3 points. I think they went at like
1-0 up. There's no need for
5-4. 5-4. It had like Glenn Middleton up front. Obviously, if you've seen Glenn Middleton play, he's very small. He's good with the ball at his feet, but they're
Yeah,
just
just-
pinging useless balls to him. Ash Taylor was eating them up, just getting the ball. I thought Ash Taylor before the goal was very impressive. Looks very comfortable in that defence alongside Lewis Mayo.
Obviously played under Derek McInnes at
That's true.
Aberdeen. Obviously getting the move to Kelly, and he's the captain, so he's leading by example in
That's
the first
true.
game of the season. We contender for maybe Player of the Week.
Could be.
Let's just move on to the St Johnstone Hibs game.
Let's move on. Well, a very lacklustre game, you could say.
Yeah, not one for a lot of people to speak about. Very quiet game.
It was a
Obviously
very
took
quiet
a late
game.
goal to get into it, but St Johnstone, I think there's a reason we've said 12th in the league to
I think
finish.
that showed.
A very poor game from both sides.
Well, Hibs had the domination of dominated the action at Mid-Dermot Park, which saw the hosts seen Murray Davison red carded for a challenge on Ryan Porteous.
Yeah, it was just so rash. There was no need for it. He's chasing a ball and maybe he's seen an opportunity to put us quite high up,
Yeah,
but there's just no need for it.
there's no need he was sent off. Obviously, Josh Campbell, late header was diverted into his own goal by Cameron Ferguson on the 90 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen a bit of controversy on that one. Did it hit Rocky Beershee's hand? But
yeah.
I think from a different angle, the one you've seen in the highlights, it looked like a handball, but
Yeah.
a different angle, it does come off of Cameron McPherson's chest in the end. But that just shows there's aspects of Hibs where it's like, I've lost my horse, man. I think, do they struggle that hard in a game to see it through, especially against maybe the worst team in the league with 10
Yeah.
men, or does it show that they've got that determination not to give up and score in the last minute?
Obviously, the cup games were horrific. I think this season is going to be a really long one. Obviously, Edinburgh Derby next week. We'll touch on that later,
Yeah,
but
that could be a wee bit of a struggle for
I
them.
think we will really struggle. Obviously, Cam Davison already out the League Cup. Does this put more pressure on him? Could be the first person to get sacked.
I'm not too sure because I don't think expectations have got that much high. Obviously, they might want to be doing a wee bit better against Hibs. They'll probably see based off of last season, they should probably finish similar enough with them. However, there was a few talking points throughout the game. Obviously, David Marshall, clean sheet on his debut. There was obviously that late winner. And Lee Johnson, the new manager, coming in, playing his new system.
First game, first one.
Didn't really, I mean, obviously got the 3 points, but didn't really work. A slow
Yeah.
game, took them ages to get the winner, and they were against 10 men for a good period of time.
I
so-
do worry when they come up against like really good sides and Rangers, Celtic, Hearts and stuff like that. I think they'll really struggle. Obviously, just beating St Johnstone 1-0. Also away from home, first game of the season. Maybe the season get better, goes on. Players get up to speed and they start smashing it. But I think my prediction of top 4 for them was completely wrong.
Yeah, maybe you should take back your statement on my predictions being wrong. 'Cause from what I've seen, it's not been too bad. However, one of my league predictions for game week 1, St Mirren Motherwell, I said 2 each, and I mean that was anything but the score. They won their Motherwell, however, they didn't deserve it. The whole game, St Mirren were dominant, creating chances. It was just down to Liam Kelly and goals for Motherwell, keeping them in
Absolutely
it.
blinded, didn't he?
And one of the saves from the header, crossed into the box, 32 minutes, a lovely header, like almost reversing it back onto Kelly's other side. He just sticks it hand and saves it, and
Well-
he swallows up the seconds, and there's no goal.
Well-
5 key chances for St Mirren in that game, all missed.
Yeah.
Motherwell did not deserve it. Also, they get the penalty in the end. Kevin Van Veen tucks it away, but
Tell you
they didn't deserve it.
well, obviously Graham Alexander got sacked after the Sligo Rovers game on Thursday.
Well,
24
mutual consent as they say, but
Well,
I feel like he just didn't want that embarrassing.
Probably, yeah.
Got sacked.
Also, pretty much most of the fans were wanting them out.
Yeah.
It was like that before they got a European football.
It was the academy director Stephen Hamill who took charge, and he will be taking charge on an interim basis alongside his assistant, who's going to be the new assistant manager. He was the under-18s coach, Brian Kerr. So not much experience at first team level. Obviously you get a under-18s coach for a youth one and a youth director. They might struggle at the season.
Well, I saw Motherwell. They'll have a talk with Motherwell's directors next week and see who would take charge against St Mirren. I imagine it'll be him again, but
Yeah,
I
probably.
wonder who they're going to get. They're talking about the Everton assistant manager, Duncan Ferguson, but I think he turned in the Everton job just to be assistant manager, so I don't think he'll.
Maybe a wee shout for Mark McGee. He's done quite well over his time at different clubs.
Yeah.
And, a wee funny manager.
I
wouldn't mind to see him at Motherwell.
I did see Kevin Thompson as well, obviously former Celtic Hearts manager and former Rangers under 21 manager, I believe.
Maybe one of the youth coaches.
One of the youth coaches anyway. I would like to see him get the job.
Yeah, it's down to the system they play, because obviously Motherwell, when I watched them, they weren't too bad in transitions. They were getting the ball moving quite quickly, but they didn't create chances from those situations. St Mirren, as we said, dominated. Motherwell managed somehow to see out and get the 3 points. Very lucky, but there's not much to talk about in this game really.
Well, let's just move on to
the final game.
Final game of the week.
The champions ending the week very strong. Celtic vs Aberdeen, obviously it's flagged day at Celtic Park. It's seen the perfect start. 3 minutes in, Stephen Welsh opening the scoring. I'm not sure if I touched on this last week, saying we struggle to score from corners and get that, and what happens 3 minutes into the campaign, an unlikely score on Stephen Welsh to open it. It's a lovely ball into the box by Matt O'Reilly. Just as I said, I've touched
Another
on.
blinder.
He's just the quality, and that is literally spot on. Stephen Welsh, great header as it is. He's up against about 3 Aberdeen players, and he just flicks it on, finds the back of the net.
Well, I did put my fantasy football team, and people laughed at me.
Yeah.
A certain person laughed at me, and they ain't laughing now.
I don't play the game. Don't even give me that. No, but to be fair, it was dominating the whole game. Celtic, Aberdeen struggled to create chances. There was only really one Johnny Hayes chance. I don't know if you've seen it. So much time in the box. Obviously, there was a ball over the top. Carter Vicker starts to come out to the Dutch winger for Aberdeen. I can't quite pronounce his name properly, so I'm not even going to bother. But Juranovic is also tucked in. Ball cut back for Hayes. Welsh starts to go, but it's like a chance where it should be a first time shot, but he takes a touch, so Welsh backs away, starts to close the angle, and Hayes, he just tries to pass it into the bottom corner, narrowly missing. Big scare, but that's the only chance they had the whole game. Obviously Celtic later on in the game getting the chance with Jota. What a goal.
Yeah, that was
25 yards screamer.
I saw the highlights after. I was raging, but
I know, he didn't have the best of the game, to be fair.
No, I didn't.
But yeah, it just shows the quality he has in his locker, that he can just pull that out of nothing.
Yeah.
It was quality, and obviously I predicted 2-0 getting the spot, and you predicted 3-0. Chance late on for Yakimakis. He ran off the defender, used his body very well to see off McCrory, and he just passes it wide.
Yeah.
I was a bit mixed opinions on that. I was like, got to be scoring that. I wanted to be scoring that, but then you would have been right and I would have been wrong. So the game's the game.
Yeah, well, I think a very dominant Celtic game. I think Aberdeen would take great confidence going into their next game. I don't know who they're playing, but I think they'll take great confidence.
St Mirren.
Is it?
I think they're opening the week maybe.
Jim Goodwin's own side. We'll touch on that later, but I think they'll keep. Obviously, they didn't play a back five. Very shocked. I thought they were just lined up, everyone behind the goal. They tried to play football at times, also Celtic referees.
Yeah, they were trying to pass at the back and goal kicks. I mean, it's just, see the way Celtic pressed, they had no chance, and like second balls, first balls, even third balls, they were just getting nowhere near up the pitch.
But I think it's positive for Aberdeen. Obviously 2-0 loss isn't great, but against Celtic, first game, if it was like a couple of games into the season, might have a chance, but first game they're going to, especially on Trophy Day.
Yeah, there was a wee spell about 5-10 minutes to the end of the first half where they were starting to get on the ball in our half and make us move about in positions, and that's kind of where they were creating chances, but there wasn't too much to speak on. Obviously Celtic, they're going to dominate the game.
Well, let's move on to Goal of the Week.
Goal of the Week indeed.
I will hit mine first. I've got Barry Mackay. I think that was unreal.
Yeah, we touched on that. That's honestly sensational. Like, I've got between him and Jota's goal, but just because it was unbelievable. But Jota's one, you might get a wee bit of luck here and there, and might get one top bins. But his one, the technique is unbelievable. To pluck it out the sky, go between the defenders.
Send like 4 defenders.
And it's not even that. Like, you could think that you want to do that, but the execution has to be there, and he done it perfectly. And he was trying to do these like disguised reverse balls where he fizzed it in to Shankland a few times. Obviously, didn't really touch on him much. He didn't have the best of games on his debut in the league competitively, but Barry Mackay, it just screams the player. Also, we know the qualities he has back in the day when he was at Rangers, but he still got it.
So, are you saying Jota for yours?
See, I don't know. Obviously, Jota's one was unbelievable, and it made us see out the game properly and comfortably. But I might just give it to Barry Mackay just because of the technique and what he did. Obviously, Jota's was unbelievable.
Yeah. Just want to give a shout out to Levitt versus Kilmarnock. Absolutely, thumped that top ends. But
see, if Barry Mackay and Jota didn't get those goals, it would have been him. But
his
goal is not on anywhere near the level these days.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Well, let's move on to Player of the Week. Who you got?
Now, I was struggling to think of a standout player for the week because Barry Mackay obviously got the goal. He was very good, but he wasn't a standout. He came really in the second half.
The full game.
Jota wasn't amazing, but he got the goal.
Tav wasn't that good.
Exactly.
Right?
He got his goal, but the first half he struggled with the crosses. So for me, this is an out there one, I might say, but very good first game. Greg Taylor for Celtic left back. Everything that we do with our inverted full backs that come out, Juranovic, he didn't struggle in the game, but he wasn't as noticed as much as Taylor. Taylor, he carried the ball very well. He picked it up in so many pockets, was back to goal, and he turned. He played these reverse passes out wide, inside. He was just unbelievable. I think he had 3 recovery tackles. Whether that might be out of position, but that's just how we play.
Yeah.
I thought he was phenomenal, and Jota got man of the match in the end, obviously because of his goal. But I think Greg Taylor would have got man of the match. We shout out to Stephen Welsh. Only made one rule mistake that Carter Vickers had to come across for a slide tackle, but obviously got the opening goal. Carried the ball well. It might have been a wee bit slow coming out at times, but his passing was decent. So yeah, Greg Taylor for me.
Well, I've got the man that saved Motherwell and got them the 3 points. I've got Liam Kelly.
Oh, that's a good shout.
That is obviously I'm saying it is, so it's also my good shout.
I know.
No, I thought he was. I saw him bits of the Motherwell game, but he made like a couple of amazing saves. There was like a couple with like point blank, and he had to like squirm across his goal to save it. It was a really heroic performance for Kelly.
I know, although Van Veen got the goal to get the 3 points, Kelly really got the 3 points.
He saved 6 shots, 5 of them from inside his box.
I know, that's impressive as it is.
Point blank saves.
Exactly. We touched on that header. What a save that was.
I know. I think Motherwell will be thanking him, and we probably shot against Rangers Celtic a couple of times. But let's move on to our Game Week 2 predictions.
Yeah, so in our predictions we're going to be doing something where we tally points each week just to see at the end of the season out of us who's got the better ball knowledge. So just run through the point system a wee bit here. You get 1 point for predicting the correct win, loss or draw. So let's say you predict Celtic to win 2-0 and they win 3-0. You get 1 point because you predicted them to win. You get 3 points for predicting the perfect score. So as I said, if you predict, like me, Celtic 2-0, they get 2-0, that's 3 points. But also, because you've predicted that one and the correct win, loss or draw, you get the 1 point as well. So a maximum 4 points for each game possible. So touching on last week, you don't know how, but you've managed to beat me.
Don't know how.
12 points in the end for you. That's very impressive, by the way.
I know, it's very good.
So if people are expecting us to get this consistently, I don't know about that because we might get like a 4 or a 5. I got 10 and then that's quite good, but obviously you got 12. Just going over the predictions, I said 3-1 Rangers, it was 2-1 then, so I get the 1 point for predicting Rangers to win. You said 2-0, so that's 1 point for you. You said 3-1 Hearts, it was 2-1, I said 2-1, so I get 4, you get 1.
Yeah.
People know how it works, but we're just going to get into our Game Week 2 predictions. So should we start off with Aberdeen St Mirren?
Obviously Jim Goodwin's old side left him for the Aberdeen's Dons. I think this will be a comfortable. Aberdeen played at home. I think it'll be a comfortable 2-0 win. I think they've got too much quality. I think the cup. I don't know if it's the cup games that are blinding my trust in Aberdeen.
That Rafe game.
The Rafe game, indeed. I think they'll just see that. I think St Mirren are poor as it is. I think they'll be I think they'll have confidence. I think their strikers will be lacking confidence. Obviously, missing a lot of chances against Motherwell. I think it's going to be a tough game, so I've got a 2-0 win. Pretty dominant win for Aberdeen.
Yeah, for me, I also have 2-0. Obviously, I watched both games, Celtic Aberdeen and St Mirren Motherwell. St Mirren were dominant, so I feel like they will create chances. I was between 2-0 and 2-1, but obviously I'm going 2-0 in the end. They didn't get the goal. Although they created the chances, they didn't score. And Aberdeen, they showed at times that they're not going to be as bad as they were last season. Obviously, Celtic's probably the hardest game you can get, maybe Rangers. But the way we play and swarm you, we don't give you a chance to create stuff. So from what I've seen, the quick transitions, they get players up the pitch, and their new centre mid, I can't remember his name, but he came in from Budapest alongside the striker. He's got good passing range.
Yeah.
Didn't really show it as much against Celtic, but he put one ball in behind, which ended up giving Johnny Hayes that chance to score, and he missed. But I think they will comfortably win this 2-0.
Well, next game is Motherwell versus St Johnstone.
Yeah, again, I've gone for another 2-0. 2-0 Motherwell.
2-0.
Obviously, Motherwell, they didn't create much chances against St Mirren, as we've touched on, but they ended up getting the win. So Kelly, it shows that he's there to save them and Van Veen's there to score goals. St Johnstone really struggled against Hibs. Obviously 10 men, they'll be out with Murray Davidson next week. They didn't create chances throughout the whole 90. So I just think Motherwell will end up doing what they did against St Mirren, but playing better. Because they were quick in the transitions, showing that they can play football. So for me, 2-0 Motherwell.
I think, obviously, no Graham Alexander, I think that will help them. I think the Motherwell fans will get behind them. Obviously, they're playing at home. I'm on the line between 1-1 or 2-1 Motherwell. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't see the Hibs game, and you're also saying St Johnstone didn't really create too much, so I think I'm going to edge a 2-1 Motherwell win. Obviously, next game will be Rangers vs Camargue. Rangers could be on a European hangover if they maybe lose to Union, but we won't focus on that too much. Rangers play at Ibrox against Camargue, also a Camargue side that battled their way to a 1-1 draw against Dundee United. I think this will be a very I don't know, I think it'll be an interesting game. I think Rangers, it can either go Rangers absolutely thumping them or Rangers just beat Camargue.
That's what's in my mind, because you will be playing Europe and then you've got the next leg, so you'll be having that in your mind. But after that Livingston performance, you want to put a stamp down to show that you aren't going to be easy just second. You want to be showing that you're up for the league, especially with the signs you made. You've got a lot of versatility. So
I think also obviously there's no, for Ryan Kent, he won't be playing in Europe tonight, didn't travel the squad. Might be back for Camargue. Arthur Mills might be back as well. Interesting times for Rangers. Yilmaz could be playing, who knows? Davies, who knows?
what prediction have you got down?
I've got 2-0 Rangers.
2-0.
I think a comfortable win. I think we'll see an early goal from a Tavernier penalty, and then we'll see
Love a penalty use.
a wee Kolak, 89th minute.
Solid header.
Get it in, see us out, 2-0, bang.
See, for me, again, as I said, I'm stuck in between, will they just pump Kelly or will it be a closer game? Because Kelly, they played well, but they struggled to score, obviously get the late goal again, so it's a bit like the Motherwell, they played bad but they got the result. It's all the way about this time. I just think you will really want to show that you are up for this league, so I've put a big score in here.
Big?
Rangers 4.
4?
Kilmarnock 0.
Jesus.
I feel like you'll just get a few early goals to like kill the game, and Kelly will sit in even more than they would do, just so they can protect the goal difference, and it'll just come and they'll crumble and they won't be up for it, because you know when I start the game you're up for it, like Ilivy, they got the early goal, so they're up for it, they know they're on for points here, so they're playing hard, whereas if you were 3-0 up they would have just dropped off. So for me, 4-0.
Well, also Camargue will be out without Lewis Mayo as well. I might be a big loss. Ash Taylor, my partner, might be gone. But let's move on to Ross County versus Celtic. Obviously Ross County playing at home versus Celtic, who Ross County will be looking at wins after losing to Hearts 2-1, trying to prove and get something at home against Celtic. Also Celtic not playing in Europe, but the guaranteed group stage, so we'll be playing in qualifiers.
We've got a long rest.
Long rest.
Off the
indeed.
back of last week. So good.
Obviously, I think I've got a 2-1 Ross County win.
No, you don't.
No, I
Don't
don't.
even
I don't.
know you don't.
I wish I could, but I don't. I think it'll be 2-1 Celtic. I think Ross County attacking. Ross County attacking. Look, really good attack. Defence, not too sure. Not really been sold on them. But I think Celtic, too much quality. I can see them. Maybe I can see Ross County scoring, and then Celtic maybe getting a couple goals, and that'd be it. And then them seeing out the game.
Yeah, Ross County against Hearts, they were definitely there to be got at in the second half. They showed the unit that they have in the first half, but second half, whatever Robbie Nielsen said, Hearts came out at them. Celtic will definitely come at them and have the majority of the ball. So they will struggle in that end. For me, I've got Celtic 3, Ross County 0. Yeah, I just feel like we don't have a midweek fixture, so we will have so much time to prepare for this. We've got a big squad, and our quality's just so much better than Ross County's. I think we'll comfortably win this, and obviously against Aberdeen, didn't concede. Aberdeen are probably harder to or easier to create chances against.
Obviously, you'll be playing at home. The crowd will be against you.
Yeah, but I don't think that comes into play with Celtic. Also, the crowds at home matches in a way gets on them, but it's not a big deal for Celtic. They just play their footballs, and yeah, comfortable win for me. So 3-0.
Well, let's move on to the Edinburgh Derby.
I feel like
First derby of the.
should we leave that to last?
You think?
Maybe it's a
Yeah,
derby.
we'll leave it.
More
We'll leave it
talking
till
points in that one.
We'll leave it. Let's move on to Dundee United versus Livy. Obviously Dundee United winning, outdrawn 1-1. Obviously, Ian Harrison got sent off. Livy just missing out on 3 points or a 1-1 draw against Rangers. So both of them will feel want to get their anger out on each other. I was tempted for a 1-1 draw, but I've got a 2-1 Dundee United win. I think they'll have too much quality playing at home. Livy, I think they'll be fine this season, but I think they're gonna have a tough start to the season.
Yeah, I can see your reasoning for that game, because for me, I was indecisive of what team could win this or a draw, but I've got 1-1 because I feel like Dundee United could win this game quite comfortably, but they struggled so much against Kelly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because Kelly had more of the ball, they were struggling to create. Different side, who knows, but Livy in the end, they played very well against Rangers, so it's shown that they've got a good start to the season. But they don't have too many goals, Livy, whereas Dundee United do, but they're hard to break down, so it's like two teams complement each other in attack and defence, so yeah, it can go either way for me, so I've just stuck on a 1-1, trying to be safe here.
Well, I'll tell you, watch out for Glenn Middleton in Cujo. I tell you, those boys are some tricky wingers, and maybe wee Fletcher getting a wee goal as well. Well, let's move on to the
Time for the big
Edinburgh Derby.
12 o'clock kick-off on the Sunday. Sky Sports coverage for the Edinburgh Derby. Hibs Hearts.
Hibs playing at home.
Hibs playing at home, but I feel like over the past few seasons Hearts have got the better at Hibs in the home match for Hibs, and obviously Hibs have not had a great start. Obviously they did get the 3 points against St Johnstone, but they didn't play well.
Yeah.
And Hearts only came alive second half, but they got the 2 goals.
I think Hearts will be more confident than Hibs will be.
I feel like Hearts will dominate this.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
it's a derby. Everyone's up for it. Doesn't matter
Yeah, that's true.
how you've been playing, whatever. You could play bad and be up for it and still win.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tight one. What have you got?
Well, you said tight. I think it could be the opposite. I think it could be very loose. I think 3-0 Hearts. I don't know.
3-0 Hearts.
I did this after I saw the St Johnstone game. I think Hearts too much quality. I think attacking wise against that Hibs defence, I would be really worried. Obviously, boys didn't play on against Ross County, and Shankland wasn't too great. But I think Edinburgh Derby, I think they'll be up for it. Barry Mackay looks to be back to his usual best. Craig Gordon, a monster in goals these days.
They've got a really good squad. I mean, for Hibs, could they score? They played so bad, but they've got, from what I've seen, their new signing, L.A. Ewan, is it?
Oh,
They
yeah,
won
yeah.
from either somebody in Swiss, I don't know if it was Young Boys or St Gallen or whoever it was, but
I think it was St Gallen.
he was very lively in the ball, very quick and tricky. There was a bit where it was like late on in the game when they were winning, they were just seeing it out, literally the last few seconds. he's just making the defender dance. He's going one way, cutting back, step overs, just a time wasting. He's smart because he didn't just run to the corner and lose it. He was in the bit where it's kind of going into the box so the defender can't tackle.
Yeah.
And he just goes back and passes it on, so he could be a threat. Obviously they've got people like Porteous, who's a physical player. He'll enjoy this game. So they've got different players that could suit this game. However, Hearts obviously can't score. They've got more options. I'd say Liam Boyce didn't even start the Ross County game. They had Shankland, who wasn't that good. Boyce has been good against Hibs previously. Will he start? They've got more options. So for me, I've got 2-1 Hearts.
Yeah, I think Hearts are more experienced.
Yeah, they'll just see it out in the end.
I think they're more experienced side. I think the Hibs is a lot of a newer team, a lot of new players joining. So I think Hearts will see it out. Yeah.
Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how Lee Johnson plays. Obviously, his system against Johnson, it was poor. It didn't work. Will he try the same against Hearts? It's an Edinburgh derby. You can't try these risks.
Yeah.
You have to just be disciplined and see out the game. Will they do that? They might struggle. Who knows? But I mean, that's all we've got left to talk about.
Well, that wraps up another episode. Episode 4 of the Football Review podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.